want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. Face as their disease. Just like a weed.
Ladies and gents, I am the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to a very special edition Monday stream. We are streaming live, of course, on 7 different accounts, 4 different platforms, and I'm a little bit more toned down. And the reason being is because I am just exhausted. It has been a long weekend. It's been a very productive week in general. I did have some stuff to get done before I came here, which is why I pushed the stream back an hour and a half. But regardless, we are still here. We are going to talk about everything that took place at WrestleMania night number 2. And of course, we do have some news regarding the sale of WWE. It is indeed official where they will be sold to. They will be sold to Endeavor, who is also the parent company of the UFC. So it seems as though the UFC and WWE will form one big, gigantic, publicly traded company, and that will be the case going forward. We will discuss that. We will also discuss the rather questionable outcomes that took place at WrestleMania night number 2. But overall thoughts, first off, WrestleMania night number 2 was not a bad show. It was not a bad show. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it was a terrible show. I know what a terrible show is. I know what a terrible show is, and I know how bad some of these shows can be. But WrestleMania night number 2 was not a terrible show. Was it as good as night 1? No. It was not as good as night 1. Matter of fact, there was a lot of things that were on the negative side about night 2, specifically what happened in the beginning, and then some of the outcomes of the main matches on this show, specifically the women's title match, the Hell in a Cell match, and the main event between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. We will go over everything. We will go over everything in depth, and I have a lot to say about the main event. I have a lot to say about the sale of WWE, and it's going to be a little bit more calm this time. Like I said, I've been exhausted. First off, I would also like to thank everyone for the birthday wishes that everyone sent me over the course of the last 24 to 36 hours. You guys are fantastic. I received a lot of love, a lot of great messages from a lot of great people, friends, family, fans. You guys are fantastic. And above all else, you guys are awesome for sticking with me here on the channel, on all of these streams throughout the course of the last week and a half, especially with all the fucking technical difficulties. Hopefully we could switch over to a new streaming software. Thus far, the stream has been going okay. Thank you to Dan Lehman. Appreciate you for the belated birthday wish. You guys are the reason why I do this. You guys are the reason why I do this, and you guys are the reason why being DJ Storms is worthwhile. It has been such a fun ride, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what the rest of 2023 has to offer. Hopefully we can get a new streaming software sooner rather than later, and we will be free of all these fucking glitches when it comes to StreamYard. Melon, I am looking to migrate over to because I heard Melon actually works a lot better. But thank you to Dan Lehman. Thank you to The Shooter. Thank you to Danielle Wolf. Thank you to Mitch Kofsky and the Final Hoss. Solid crowd here on a Monday afternoon, even though Mondays are probably one of the worst days of the week, especially for streaming. But I can imagine that some people are at work, which is why some people are not watching, but we still have a decent crowd. We're going to talk about everything that took place at WrestleMania. But first things first, obviously, if you have not already done so, please make sure you follow me on social media at HistoryMakerDJS. That is at HistoryMakerDJS, both on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for the birthday wish, Danielle Wolf. At HistoryMakerDJS, both on Twitter and Instagram. Please make sure that you add me on Facebook as well. For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the description of this very stream. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure, if you haven't already done so, go check out the rewind for NXT Stand and Deliver and Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor 2023. We streamed live Saturday afternoon at 4:30 p.m. immediately after NXT Stand and Deliver with my thoughts and my reviews on both of those pay-per-views. Supercard delivered. NXT did not. It wasn't bad, but it was nowhere near the level of greatness that we know that it could have delivered, especially with the card that they put together. On top of that, if you missed the rewind for WrestleMania Night Number 1, that is also in the description as well. We did a live special birthday stream. I broke out the blazer. I broke out a new piece of merch. I also got this for my birthday, which is the Jay Briscoe tribute t-shirt. Reach for the sky, boy. Shout out to the Briscoe brothers and the Pugh family. Thoughts and prayers always going out to the Pugh family. If you haven't already done so, please make sure you like the video, like the stream, wherever you're watching, whether it be on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. Like it and share it out on all platforms of social media. And please make sure that you get as many people in here as possible, because everybody needs a little dose of DJ Storms in their life, especially on a Monday, because Monday, undoubtedly one of the worst days of the week. Everyone needs a little daily dose of DJ Storms, especially on a Monday, to brighten up their Monday, so that way they're not moping around at work. So share it out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok. Shout out to Dylan, who just joined. How are you doing? And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button on YouTube, whether you're watching on my YouTube channel or if you're watching on the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel. We recently surpassed 400 subs. You heard me correctly. We surpassed 400 subs on the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel. Shout out to Sarah Hapka. Thank you very much for supporting me. You seem like a new subscriber to the channel. I hope that you thoroughly enjoy what I have to provide, because I am the absolute best in the motherfucking business. That's what DJ Storms is all about, baby. And of course, show Hardcore Sports a shit ton of support. Subscribe to them on Twitch at Hardcore Sports 1. Follow them on Instagram at Hardcore Sports Network. Follow them on Twitter at Hardcore Sports _. We got a new Twitter, Hardcore Sports _. And of course, subscribe to them on YouTube right down there, Hardcore Sports Network, which we are streaming live on right now. Subscribe to both my channel and the Hardcore Sports channel. And of course, hit that notifications bell. Hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way, you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube, because whenever I pop up on YouTube, baby, you already know it is the best time to be on YouTube, because it's the only time that you won't get to see this glorious sideburn shin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. Let me break out this comb right here because, as per usual, we always got to break out the comb for all the special occasions, especially on the Rewind for WrestleMania Night number 2. We're going to break it down with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of I am so happy that next year WrestleMania is not taking place on my birthday. Holy shit. I cannot fucking stand when WrestleMania takes place on my birthday because it makes me go into work mode immediately. And sometimes I want to be in relaxation mode on my birthday. But nevertheless, I thank you all. You guys have been fantastic throughout this entire week, showing me a shit ton of support. And we are going to get right into the festivities here. Rewind for WrestleMania Night number 2. Not as good as Night 1, but still a good show. We got 4 great matches towards the end of the show, which we will talk about. So Miz and Snoop Dogg did the same thing as Night 1, hyped up Night 2. This was very quick and short. I was hoping that this was going to be the only time that we were going to see Miz and Snoop Dogg, but unfortunately it wasn't. Show kicked off with Omos and Brock Lesnar. And I'm going to be quite honest here. Was this a great match? No. Was this a match that you're going to go back and rewatch? No. But in the end, it went 5 minutes, and it wasn't a disaster. It was not a disaster. And I guess that's probably the biggest compliment that you could give to an Omos match. It wasn't a disaster. It wasn't a disaster. It wasn't a complete train wreck. And both men played to each other's strengths, and that was it. And there was actually a couple people saying that this match was actually better than all of the Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley matches. And I can't even believe that I'm saying this, but they're right. They're actually right. At least with the Brock Lesnar Omos match, at least they did something else outside of the usual. With Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, it was nothing but a fucking finisher fest. Every single time, finisher, spear, F5, German suplex, hurt lock. Same thing every single match. But with Omos, I don't know what it was. Oddly enough, this match ended up turning out to be better than all of the Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley matches, which I don't even believe that I'm saying that. So Omos, he flung Lesnar off of him, and Lesnar sold the shit out of that. That was actually a very nice visual. Omos, then with a headbutt and a couple of body slams to Brock Lesnar, he then delivered some shots to the back, working on the kidney area. Omos then locked in a bear hug. He locked in a bear hug on Brock Lesnar, and he was trying to wear him down. Omos then delivered a choke slam to Lesnar for a 2. Brock Lesnar finally got back up and delivered a German suplex to Omos, then a second one, then a third one, and he actually got him up pretty decently. Lesnar could not get Omos up on an F5 attempt because of his lower back, so Lesnar sold the lower back. Omos then went for the double choke bomb on Brock Lesnar, and then out of nowhere, Lesnar picked up Omos. He got him up, and he delivered what was a pretty decent-looking F5, and Brock Lesnar gets the win in a match that was quick, it was easy to watch, it was painless, and it was not a disaster. It wasn't a disaster whatsoever, so thank God. Thank God. Thank God it's over, and thank God that this was not a disaster. So in the end, I can't really overly complain about this because they did what they needed to do. They got the fuck out of there, and it didn't help the show, but it didn't really take away from the show. So I'm not really going to sit here and say, oh yeah, Brock Lesnar and Omos was a complete train wreck. It wasn't. If anything, I would say that the women's Fatal 4-Way was actually worse than Brock Lesnar and Omos. I don't even believe that I'm saying that. But that was pretty much it. I don't care what they do with either of these guys. Brock Lesnar, I don't give a shit about Brock Lesnar. I've even said it myself. After this match is over, just pay Brock to sit out the rest of his contract. He has no value, and he's lazy. And Omos, I don't know what the fuck to tell you about Omos. I mean, Omos has literally gone through the ringer with everything. This is where Omos is slotted to be. He is a 7'4" jobber. That's what Omos is. He is a 7'4", 415-pound Nigerian jobber. What value does he have? He lost to Bobby Lashley. He lost to Braun Strowman. He lost to Brock Lesnar. That's pretty much all he is. He's nothing more than a 7'4" enhancement talent to help get other people over. He's going nowhere. Whatever little value, whatever little mystique that he had, has already been erased. It was erased last year when Bobby Lashley beat him at WrestleMania 38, night number 2. That mystique is gone. I don't know why the fuck they even keep him around. I would legitimately, Brock Lesnar's pretty much on his way out. Give Omos his walking papers. Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. This was the women's WrestleMania showcase match, and this went completely nowhere. This was very, very bland, very boring. Nothing happened. And Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, they won, and they didn't do anything. It was an 8-minute match in which the other women did all the work, and Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, they took a fucking 8-minute nap on the outside. Ronda Rousey came in. She didn't take any bumps. She delivered an armbar to Shotzi, and she won the match. That was it. The women's division in WWE sucks. The women's division in WWE absolutely sucks because there is absolutely no competitiveness. There is no competitiveness. No one is going to care about the women's division if you have 4 fucking women's matches on the show and not one of them goes over 2 minutes. You have Candice LeRae and Piper Niven on Monday Night Raw competing in fucking 90-second matches. You have fucking Nikki Cross and Carmella competing in 2-minute matches. Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville defeated, who was it? Fucking Michin and Candice LeRae. That match went 3 minutes. There's no competitiveness. No one gives a shit about the women's tag team titles. The tag team division in women's wrestling is dead. There should be no such thing as a women's tag team division unless it's fucking Stardom. No one gives a shit about women's wrestling in WWE. Women's wrestling has been dead in WWE for God knows how many years. It's been dead ever since Ronda Rousey left it the first time around, and Becky Lynch's first feud coming out of the main event of WrestleMania where she won both titles. Her first feud was against Lacey Evans, and they feuded for 3 straight fucking pay-per-views. Who is going to give a shit about the women's division if WWE fucking shit all over it after Ronda Rousey left the first time around? No one is going to care. Every woman in this match is a fucking dead act. They're a fucking dead act because WWE refuses to invest any real time in building up a competitive women's division. Liv Morgan, she may be popular, but coming out of that Ronda Rousey feud, she's fucking dead. She's dead. Raquel Rodriguez, she came off a great performance against Ronda Rousey, probably brought Ronda Rousey to Ronda Rousey's best match since Sasha Banks at the Royal Rumble 2019. And what does she get? Charlotte Flair comes back, completely fucking overshadows her. Shayna Baszler is a dead act. Shayna Baszler has been fucking ball and shackled, and she's being overshadowed by Ronda. Shotzi has gotten worse in the ring. Natalya, no one gives a fuck about Natalya. And Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville, they have been fucking jobbers in WWE. No one has been invested in them for God knows how many years. Sonya Deville, the last time Sonya Deville actually meant something was when she was feuding with Mandy Rose during the pandemic era of WWE in 2020. That was the last time Sonya Deville meant something. Chelsea Green has never meant anything. There was one spot in this match that was actually pretty decent. Raquel Rodriguez actually powerbombed Liv Morgan over the top rope onto a pile of individuals. And then outside of that, there was nothing about this match that was memorable. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler won with Ronda delivering an armbar to Shotzi and Shotzi tapping out. A pointless match. No heat. Who cares? All this match did was set up a potential women's tag team championship match between Becky Lynch and Lita and Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, where Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler are probably going to win the tag team titles. And once again, no one is going to give a shit because the women's tag team titles have been dead ever since the Iconics won them from Sasha Banks and Bayley. And then you wonder why Sasha Banks left. You wonder why Sasha Banks left. She made the biggest fucking decision of her life. She made perhaps the best decision of her life to walk out on this company. No one is going to give a shit. No one. And that was that. So they got the 2 bathroom breaks out of the way. Bobby Lashley, he came out to do virtually nothing but to carry around the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal Trophy and just celebrate his victory at WrestleMania. There was legitimately no fucking place on the card for Bobby Lashley. You found a place for Omos. You found the place for fucking Bobby Lashley. You found the fucking place for Chelsea Green and Shayna Baszler. You found the fucking place for Shane O'Mac on the show. You found the fucking place for Shane McMahon on this show. Shane fucking McMahon you found the place for, but you couldn't find the place for Bobby Lashley. You could not find a place on this card for Bobby Lashley. Meanwhile, there was a plethora of scenarios where Bobby Lashley could have easily been placed on the card. You could have placed him in a match with Karrion Kross. You could have placed him in a match with LA Knight. You could have placed him in a match with Bronson Reed, which would have helped them get a little bit more over. No Johnny Gargano, no Santos Escobar, nothing. But you get Shane O'Mac. You got The Miz on this show twice. You got Pat McAfee on the show. They found a spot for fucking NFL 49ers players, George Kittle, but you can't find a place for Bobby Lashley. Matter of fact, I would have actually loved seen Bobby Lashley added to the Intercontinental Championship match. Matter of fact, that's where I think they should go with Bobby Lashley. Based on the ending of the Intercontinental Championship match, I would absolutely put Bobby Lashley against Gunther. And we're going to talk about that when we talk about the Intercontinental Championship match and what's going on there. Because Gunther retained. Shockingly. All of this because Bray Wyatt, he walked out. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Bray Wyatt walked out. He walked out because of fucking Vince McMahon. At this rate, Bray Wyatt should just completely get his ass up and leave after what Vince McMahon is about to do. I said it on WrestleMania Night 1 review. This show feels like Triple H's last stand, especially after what we are going to get into before we get to the main event. Matter of fact, I may as well get into it after I talk about the Bobby Lashley scenario. I may as well get into it after we talk about the Bobby Lashley scenario. All of this shit because Bray Wyatt was placed in a program with Bobby Lashley because that's what Vince wanted. And we had this Firefly Funhouse bullshit, and then it was just completely eradicated, and they gave Bobby Lashley the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, in which no one gives a fuck about. They have not built up that match as prestigious whatsoever. We may as well get into this now. And Shooter, Paul the Shooter, yes, I'm well aware. The grizzled young veterans have been granted their release according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Good. Good. The Schism was one of the worst acts in the company. Schism was one of the worst acts in the company, and the grizzled young veterans, Zach Gibson and James Drake, were being fucking embarrassed. They were being fucking embarrassed with that entire gimmick and that entire feud with Chase U and the Schism. And I could not be happier that they have been released. And listen, I know we can't sign everyone, but I mean, holy shit. If you want a great fucking tag team to add to your division, whether it be Ring of Honor or whether it be AEW, Tony Khan would be foolish if he does not go out and get the grizzled young veterans. They are such a great fucking tag team. They would be fantastic. I can imagine them in matches with the Young Bucks and FTR and the fucking House of Black. If you want to put them on Ring of Honor with the Lucha Bros and the Kingdom and La Facción Ingobernales. Absolutely, I would pick up the grizzled young veterans if I was Tony Khan. But we may as well get into this now. Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon. Apparently, it was reported this morning. That Endeavor, which is the parent company of the UFC, has announced that it has signed an agreement to form a $21 billion global live sports and entertainment company made up of UFC and WWE. And the WWE and the UFC has indeed become one gigantic publicly traded company. The company has indeed been sold, and Vince McMahon even came out on an interview with CNBC, I believe it was. He came out on an interview with CNBC. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can fucking find it over here. Where is it? Is this CNBC? Yeah, CNBC. He came out on an interview with Ari Emanuel on CNBC, which reportedly they recorded on Sunday. And by the way, the mustache is indeed real. The mustache is real. He dyed his hair, and he got a new mustache. Vince McMahon and Ari Emanuel had a sit-down interview for CNBC, and they did indeed announce that WWE has been sold to Endeavor, and it will become one gigantic publicly traded company with the UFC. And apparently, Dana White will indeed serve as one of the acting presidents of the company, while Vince McMahon remains in his control as executive chairman, and apparently he will be indeed involved in the creative process. He claims yes and no. Vince McMahon said yes, he will be overseeing everything. He will be in the weeds, though, meaning that he will not physically be there, and he will not indeed be seeing the day-to-day operations. He will not be seeing the day-to-day operations according to him, but he will be involved in overseeing everything that takes place. I want you guys to understand something here. This man is the same man. He is now the executive chairman of the WWE, still under Endeavor. He's reportedly overseeing a creative process, but he will not be involved in the day-to-day operations. This is the same man that sexually assaulted multiple women. Then he took nearly $20 million out of the company earnings, took nearly $20 million out of the company earnings, paid these women to shut their mouths, and go away. He was ousted for it. He was ousted for it. He was exposed for all this shit. He was forced into retirement, reluctantly gave up all the power that he had, reluctantly gave up the keys to the kingdom, with Triple H taking over creative control, with Nick Khan and Stephanie McMahon serving as co-CEOs. Then, the day after he retired, while we were all enjoying Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor on July 23rd over the summer, he was plotting with Jerry McDevitt, manipulating the system. He manipulated his way back into the company because he threatened to hold up the media rights deals. He threatened to hold up the rights deals with Fox and USA because he wanted to get back into the company to facilitate the sale of the company. To make a comparison, he was virtually the 6-year-old child in Toys R Us that was throwing a tantrum, kicking and screaming, and holding his breath because his parents did not give him the Lego set that he wanted. So he threatened to hold the company hostage if they did not let him in. He slimeballed his way back into the company. He then removed multiple board members, one of which I believe his name was Manjit Singh. He removed Manjit Singh, who, by the way, was the lead investigator. He was the head of the investigation towards Vince McMahon and this whole sexual assault hush money scandal. He removed Manjit Singh from the board, instituted a plethora of yes men, got unanimously reelected to the board. Then it comes out that he booked Brock Lesnar and Omos. Then we started seeing 90-second women's matches. We started seeing Bray Wyatt and the Firefly Funhouse return. We started seeing Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar booked like shit with a typical Vince McMahon produced match at the Elimination Chamber. Then we get Ronda Rousey on television once again. We see all of this bullshit. And then all of a sudden, with the outcomes of Bianca and Asuka, the Hell in a Cell match, and then the main event of WrestleMania Night 2, you roll all that up into one after everything that is taking place, and then the announcement of the sale of the company to Endeavor, with Vince still as the executive chairman. After everything that took place, all of this shit rolled up into one, how the fuck is anyone going to sit there and tell me that there is nothing to worry about? How can anyone sit there and tell me, oh yeah, there's nothing to worry about. Oh, you shouldn't be blaming Vince. You should be blaming Triple H. Do you even know what the fuck you're talking about? Because quite frankly, you don't know jack shit. This is Vince McMahon we are talking about here. This is the devil himself. This is the Antichrist. I've made a joke saying that I'm the Antichrist of the IWC. Vince McMahon is the legitimate Antichrist. He is the legitimate Antichrist, and he is one of the most conniving motherfuckers that you will ever find in this world. He may very well be the most conniving motherfucker that you will ever find in this world. All of this shit was a plan. With this announcement, everything that I said leading up to this, since the start of the year, when Vince first came back into the company and unanimously got himself reelected into the board, Stephanie then resigned. Never to be seen again, and we started seeing all this bullshit on weekly television. All this shit did was validate everything that I said. I feel like the most validated motherfucker on the face of this planet. I think it's time that a lot of people start listening to this now 24-year-old kid from the suburbs of New Jersey. Do not let my youth fool you. I am undoubtedly the smartest motherfucker in the IWC. I have wisdom and knowledge beyond my years, and I have wisdom and knowledge beyond your imagination. I am legitimately the Albert Einstein of this community, and I think it's about time that a lot of you start shutting your fucking mouths and listening to me from here on out. Vince McMahon has beaten the system again. I don't know how anyone can sit there and be okay. It's legitimately that fucking meme of the dog sitting in a burning down house saying, yeah, this is fine. This is fine. I don't understand how anyone can sit there and say, yep, it's all going to be fine. It's all going to be good and dandy. These are the people that are living in a fucking fantasy world. You need to snap the fuck out of it. You need to snap the fuck out of it and wake up. Reality is a dark fucking place, I know, but you can't be living in a fucking fantasy world where everything is sunshine and rainbows because you're only doing yourself a disservice and you're ruining the community for others. You're ruining the community for the intelligent people like me and the people that watch me. He don't even need Saudi Arabia. He don't even need fucking Saudi Arabia. He manipulated his way back into the company and he fucking beat the system. If he can be doing public interviews on CNBC with Ari Emanuel, and now he's going to be acting as the executive fucking chairman, what else do you think he's going to do? This is just yet another step in his manipulative master plan. Just another step in the master plan of Vince McMahon to regain legitimately all the power that he lost. All of it. All the power that he lost is slowly coming back to him. It is a quest for vengeance. He's been out for blood since he was reluctantly forced to retire. Since he was forced to retire and he had to reluctantly give everything up, he has been on a hunt for the heads of everyone. He is on a hunt for the heads of everyone, and he is on a quest to prove to everyone that he is legitimately invincible. He's invincible. Vince McMahon at this rate is legitimately untouchable. Nothing is going to stop him. Triple H's last stand. Triple H's last stand was WrestleMania 39. The show combined, the two shows combined were great. The overall two-night event was an awesome event. But that's it. That's it. It's over. There is nothing left that we can do. And based on what we saw from Triple H, I legitimately saw a video and a photo from Triple H at the post-media scrum, at the post-WrestleMania press conference. You could tell he was not happy. He was not happy with how the night ended. He was not happy with the sale of the company. He looked defeated. He looked like he was just robbed of everything that he had ever owned. He looked like he was in a fucking poker game for $1 million. He was a legit poor guy. He looked like he was a fucking poor soul that happened to walk into the Vegas Strip. He walked into a casino and he was in a legitimate game of his life. He was in a game of Texas Hold'em for his life with about $10 million on the line, and he made it to the final two with someone, and he lost. He lost. He looked like a fucking baseball team. He looked like a fucking baseball team that was in Game 7 of the World Series, bottom of the ninth, bases loaded with 2 outs, 2 strikes. All they needed was 1 strike, and they win the game, and the opposing team member hit a home run, and they won the game, and the pitcher just hangs his head in disappointment. That's what Triple H looked like last night during the media scrum. That's what he looked like. He was not happy. He knew that this was his last stand. This was his last hurrah. That was it. It's over. Starting tonight, we will see more and more of Vince McMahon material going forth into the spring and summer and into the fall. The old WWE is coming back. And if you don't think that, then you are the most delusional son of a bitch walking the planet today. You need to wake the fuck up. Vince McMahon won. He won. I don't even know what else I could possibly say. All I could do is laugh. All I could do is legitimately sit here and laugh. All I can do is sit here and laugh. And the funny part about it is I didn't even need to go on a 10-minute fucking rant about this. All I needed to do was sit here and tell you, I told you so. I actually hate that I'm right now. I hate that I'm right. I feel defeated. Vince McMahon is unstoppable. He's insane. He's out of his fucking mind. He is an unstoppable madman that will stop at nothing to show everyone that he is legitimately Jesus Christ himself and he can do anything. He will stop at nothing to prove to everyone that he is untouchable, and it doesn't matter how many times that the system tries to take him down, he is going to beat it. He beat the steroid trials. He beat the Owen Hart situation. He beat the Chris Benoit scenario. He got out of sexually assaulting women. He sexually assaulted so many women, gave one of them to John Laurinaitis like a toy, used company funds to pay them off. He paid back the company funds, manipulated his way back into the system, and he won. He won. The only thing that is going to take Vince McMahon out is Father Time himself. And I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know when Vince McMahon's judgment day is coming. I don't know when Vince McMahon's day of reckoning is going to be upon us. For all we know, he could be living for the next 20 years until he's 100 years old, and he's still going to be running that company. I'm going to be married. I'm going to be married with a family of my own, and Vince McMahon is still going to be alive running the WWE. It's over. It's done. Vince McMahon won, and we lost. People really need to wake the fuck up. People really need to wake the fuck up. It is a very dark day. You could shit on him all you want. You can nitpick a lot of shit with him all you want, but I think it's about time that we all start appreciating what Tony Khan has done for professional wrestling. Because Tony Khan has shown us that he is one of the good guys. He is one of the good guys. He does not treat his employees like they are puppets. He does not treat his employees like they're numbers. He treats his employees like they're human beings, and he gives opportunities to young up-and-coming stars. He does not use people. He does not manipulate the system. Tony Khan and what he's done for professional wrestling, he has rejuvenated a lot of people's love for professional wrestling, and I think it's about time that a lot of people, you can bitch and moan and nitpick all you want, but I think it's time that a lot of people start appreciating him. And we will talk about the Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns scenario in a little bit. I just want to get through the next couple of matches. Gunther and Drew McIntyre and Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship. If you were to tell me that this was your favorite match of the night, I would not look at you weirdly. I would not look at you weirdly whatsoever. This was an absolute fucking war if I've ever seen one. I don't even know where to begin with this. These three men showed you that they are undoubtedly three of the best in the business, and they showed you exactly what the Intercontinental Championship means to them. This match will go down as one of the best Intercontinental Championship matches of all time. This match will go down as one of the best WrestleMania Intercontinental Championship matches of all time. And Gunther, when it's all said and done, Gunther may very well go down as the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. Gunther and what he's doing with the Intercontinental Championship is more special than I could ever even imagine it would be. Gunther and the Intercontinental Championship has become synonymous with WWE and what they've done under Triple H. And it's probably one of Triple H's biggest positives ever since he became the head of creative. A rather shocking outcome, but I can't sit here and tell you that I'm pissed about it. And we're going to explain why. So all of these men, they were just punching and chopping each other. And we had a three-way brawl. The crowd was loving it. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, they took turns chopping and clubbing on Gunther. We had 28 beats of the Baldwin by Sheamus on Drew. Gunther then came back in with a big German suplex and a couple of lariats. Drew came in with a neck breaker, future shock DDT. The Claymore missed. Drop kick and a power bomb on Drew, but Drew kicked out. Drew kicked out of the power bomb. Sheamus came in. Avalanche, white noise on Gunther. Sheamus with the Celtic Cross. 1, 2. Gunther kicked out. We had a cloverleaf by Sheamus. Drew came in, locked in a sleeper on Sheamus. Sheamus broke free. 2 punt knees to Drew and Gunther. Sheamus then with a bro kick, but Drew pulled Sheamus off of the cover, and they went at it. We had a Glasgow kiss and a massive Tope Con Hero by Drew onto Sheamus. Massive Tope Con Hero. Popped the crowd big. And I mean popped the crowd big. So in the ring, Drew with the Claymore, but Sheamus got a bro kick. Drew kicked out. I thought that was it. I thought Sheamus won the championship right there. A Claymore by Drew. 1, 2, and Sheamus kicked out. Sheamus becomes only the third man in history to kick out of the Claymore, the first being Brock Lesnar and the second being Bill Goldberg. So out of nowhere, both men traded blows, blow after blow. A bro kick again by Sheamus. Sheamus goes for the cover. Gunther out of nowhere comes off the top with a splash onto both men. A power bomb to Sheamus onto Drew McIntyre. He power bombed Sheamus onto Drew McIntyre. And then Gunther with a powerbomb to Drew, and he pins Drew McIntyre to retain the championship. Probably one of the most shocking outcomes, minus the main event at WrestleMania this year. But I am here to tell you that I am not mad that Gunther retained, and I'll tell you why. A couple of reasons. Number one, Gunther has been on such a great run as the Intercontinental Champion that it is almost impossible for me to say, yeah, I want him to lose. I wanted Sheamus to win. I wanted Sheamus to win. Everything was in perfect place for Sheamus to win the championship here at WrestleMania. And the crowd, they wanted it. The crowd wanted it. But we did not get that. So I'm not complaining because, number one, Gunther is just so great right now that it's really, really tough for me to say, yeah, he should be losing the championship right now. Gunther is just so great that even when he wins, even though everyone predicted him to lose, when he wins, it just boosts his credibility even further and further. Gunther was fantastic. Gunther has been fantastic. And Triple H has made Gunther into one of the biggest stars on the main roster right now. Gunther right now is doing the same thing that he did with the NXT United Kingdom Championship. It is amazing. Undefeated on the main roster is Gunther. Number one. Number two, I'm not mad because he did not pin Sheamus. Sheamus still has an easy in. Sheamus still has a reason why he should be fighting Gunther because Sheamus was not pinned. Drew took the pin. So this effectively eliminates Drew from the equation. Now, what are they building towards? I don't know. I have a theory in mind. I have a theory for some weird reason. I have a theory that if WWE goes back to Clash at the Castle, if WWE goes back to Clash at the Castle this year, and we get ourselves Clash at the Castle 2, I have a feeling that we could very well be looking at a potential Gunther versus Sheamus rematch at Clash at the Castle. We're going to get Sheamus Gunther 3 1 year later at Clash at the Castle. And that is going to be when Gunther inevitably drops the championship to Sheamus. And wouldn't that be one hell of a story if Sheamus were to beat Gunther 1 year to the day, or 1 year later, after Gunther and Sheamus had the match of the year in 2022. For many people, it wasn't my match of the year, but it was one of the matches of the year. Wouldn't it be shocking if Gunther and Sheamus returned to the same venue, to the same ring, to the same place that they had a match of the year candidate in Cardiff, and Sheamus wins the Intercontinental Championship 1 year after that classic match, and Sheamus finally beats Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at Clash at the Castle 2 in the fall of this year and becomes a Grand Slam champion. That's where I think this is headed. Now, personally, I would have not minded if Sheamus came out victorious. That was my pick. Sheamus was my pick. It felt like it was the time for Gunther to drop the title. Gunther felt like it was time for him to pass that torch to Sheamus. But Gunther winning, and if they want to tell the story of Sheamus going forth and beating Gunther at Clash at the Castle this year in the fall, I don't have a single issue with that. I don't have a single issue with that at all. Now, what do we do with Gunther now? I said it when I talked about Bobby Lashley. He was not given a WrestleMania match. I do think that they should pay Bobby Lashley back. I think they should pay him back with a match with Gunther. That's a very intriguing match. Gunther and Bobby Lashley, that would be one hell of a fight between those two. So if you're asking me, if WWE wants to continue to build up Gunther, Bobby Lashley, he can get drafted over to SmackDown, or if better yet, just end the brand split. Bobby Lashley appears on SmackDown, and Bobby Lashley and Gunther, they can go into a program going into Backlash. That would be a great Intercontinental Championship match for both men. And that would elevate Gunther, and that would give Bobby Lashley something to do. Reportedly, Drew McIntyre's contract is coming up at the end of the year, according to PW Insider, and both guys are not even close to signing a new deal. Of course, it has been rumored, according to PW Insider, that Drew McIntyre could be waiting till the deal gets closer to the expiration date in order to go into talks with WWE and potentially sign a new contract. I don't think that Drew McIntyre would go anywhere, but I mean, if Drew McIntyre were to leave WWE, I mean, holy shit. Think about the matches that he could have under Tony Khan. Think about the match that he could have under Tony Khan with Moxley and Claudio and Omega and Bryan and all these other talents, Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews and Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, MJF, Sammy Guevara, Jungle Boy, Kip Sabian, everyone. Drew McIntyre is literally a banger machine. He's literally the Scottish version of Sheamus, banger after banger after banger after banger. Drew McIntyre's never had a bad match. So if you're asking me, if there is one guy that would be rather intriguing, I would love to see jump ship. One guy that would be a rather interesting get for Tony Khan, it would be Drew McIntyre. I would love to see what AEW would do with someone like a Drew McIntyre. There are a lot of hot, fresh, new talents over in AEW, talents that have not been to WWE, talents that are AEW originals that I would love to see Drew McIntyre go up against. People like Wardlow, people like Hobbs. That would be great. That would be awesome. But I don't think Drew McIntyre is going to go anywhere. I don't think Drew McIntyre is leaving. I think Drew McIntyre is going to stay right where he is. But this match was absolutely fantastic. One of the best matches of the year. And it was very, very hard for me to root against this match being the match of the entire weekend. But it's up there. If you were to tell me this was your favorite match of the entire weekend, I would not look at you weirdly. This match was fantastic. Gunther retains, surprisingly. And it looks like they could be building towards a rematch with Sheamus at this year's Clash at the Castle. What do you do with Drew? I can see him being put in the King of the Ring tournament and or the Money in the Bank ladder match. But if you're asking me, I would love to see a feud with Drew McIntyre and John Cena potentially going into SummerSlam, or maybe if they want to, maybe Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles when Styles comes back. Bianca Belair and Asuka, Raw Women's Championship. Asuka came out with a group of people dressed in her attire, and she was the last one in this row of people that was dressed like her. Bianca Belair came out with an entrance with the Divas of Compton, which is a dance team, a group of inner city girls in LA that pretty much band together, and they teach creativity, they have fun, they dance, they do all this cool stuff. That was actually pretty cool. That was actually very, very, very cool to see. Bianca then went right after Asuka. Bianca with a nice suplex, a nice flurry of kicks by Asuka. Spinebuster by Bianca, 4-2. Asuka tried for a triangle. The brawl spilled onto the floor. They traded holds on the floor. Bianca powerbombed Asuka on the floor. Cover in the ring, Asuka kicks out. Asuka with an ankle lock, Bianca got out. Back suplex connects. Missile drop kick by Asuka off the middle rope. Both women were on the apron. We had a drop kick by Asuka, sending Bianca into the post. Bianca then sent Asuka into the post. That was very nicely done. We had both women trading pinfall after pinfall. We had a roundhouse kick by Asuka. Bianca with a running blockbuster and a standing handspring moonsault for a 2. Knee strike by Asuka. Shoulder tackle by Bianca. Both women were down. Belair went up top. Asuka stopped her. Asuka then caught Bianca in a code breaker. Bianca kicked out. Bianca with the glam slam into the buckle. Bianca went for the KOD, but Asuka reversed it. Asuka missed with the mist. KOD reversed into an armbar. Bianca made her way out and powered Asuka up very impressively. Powered Asuka up, did Bianca. Belair hit the KOD, and Belair retains the Raw Women's Championship. These women were put in a very tough spot following that Intercontinental Championship triple threat match, but I will say that they did very, very well. This was a great wrestling match. Was it better than Rhea Ripley and Charlotte? No, it was not better than Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. However, it was still a great match. Nonetheless, great match or not, this was the wrong outcome. This was the wrong outcome. And I'll tell you why. Asuka, under the pandemic era, under Vince, was turned into a comedy act. Asuka under Vince was turned into a comedy act over the course of the pandemic era, going into 2021, where they came out of the pandemic, and then into 2022. Asuka was virtually an afterthought. Asuka was virtually an afterthought. Asuka wasn't even on WrestleMania last year. Asuka wasn't even on WrestleMania last year. Asuka has been virtually the Japanese version of Sasha Banks. All the talent in the world, but WWE never fucking invests in her. Never. So, Asuka returns at the Royal Rumble. New theme music, new attire. She comes out looking like Kana. She comes out looking like Kana, like she did in her Japan days. In her Japan days, she looked like a killer. She was a killer clown. But the cool version of a killer clown. Not a comedy clown, a killer clown. She looked like a psychopath. Then all of a sudden, after she won the Elimination Chamber and she got the shot against Bianca, she started throwing up fucking blue gunk, and then it was green gunk, and then it was, fucking purple gunk. She started throwing up all this mist gunk in this build with Bianca Belair. Bianca and Asuka, they had no heat going into this. The build was just piss poor. And then here Asuka is, after Triple H resurrected Asuka, made her a killer clown, made her a fucking psychopath circus act, which I don't even mind. It fit Asuka like a glove. He took Kana. He took what Kana was in Japan and brought it to WWE. The only difference is she's now called Asuka, not Kana. And here she is after she's resurrected her career and she loses to Bianca. Bianca, who might I add, has been as stale as you can get. She is as stale as 8-week-old sliced bread. She's moldy. She's all soggy. She has green mold everywhere. It stinks. She's stale. She is well past her expiration date. She is like expired meat that has been sitting in the back of your refrigerator for God knows how many weeks, and you didn't notice until it was too late. I love Bianca. Don't get me wrong. I love Bianca Belair. I love Bianca Belair. But this babyface run has not gone anywhere. And the reason why this babyface run has not gone anywhere is because Vince McMahon has not allowed Bianca Belair to be Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair had a little bit more of a pep in her step in NXT. She may have been a heel, but she had pep in her step. She had confidence. She had a sense of conviction when she spoke. Here on the main roster, smiling and twirling a braid. Why do we need smiling? Why can't we get a stern look? Why can't we get serious Bianca Belair? Why can't we get attitude Bianca Belair? I get that Bianca Belair is she's a PR wet dream for WWE, for the fucking black community. But at the end of the day, we need more of a legit Bianca Belair. This Bianca Belair is too tame. We need a Bianca Belair with a little bit more of a pep in her step. I remember after SummerSlam when Triple H first took over. Triple H, he had Bianca Belair cut a promo on Monday Night Raw. I think it was the Raw after SummerSlam. And Bianca Belair took the mic and she sounded legit. She sounded serious. She did not sound scripted. She did not sound forced. She sounded legit. And then all of that shit went away as soon as 2023 began. And Bianca Belair was pretty much rendered right back into the same Bianca Belair that she was in going into her match with Sasha Banks at WrestleMania 37. We need a sense of legitimacy from Bianca Belair. And this babyface run, after they have just shoved it down our throats, this babyface run has seen its day. This babyface run has seen its day. It's just not it. It's just not it. It's boring. Bianca Belair is boring. They have done nothing to enhance Bianca Belair whatsoever. Nothing. Absolutely nothing to enhance Bianca Belair. And if you're asking me, this felt like a Vince McMahon call. This felt like a Vince McMahon outcome. Vince kept the title on Bianca, not because he likes Bianca, simply because he wants to use Bianca for PR reasons, number one. And number two, he hates Asuka. He hates Asuka. Asuka was classic Triple H. Asuka was classic Triple H black and gold. Bianca did not have a lot of time under NXT to really establish herself as a legit, and I mean a legit Triple H creation. She's still a Triple H creation, don't get me wrong, but she was never the NXT Women's Champion. She never really had any standout matches in NXT that were on the level of an Asuka or were on the level of a Bayley or on the level of a Sasha. Now, that's not disrespecting Bianca. She was just never given the proper opportunity to do so. Then she came up to the main roster, and this version of Bianca has pretty much grown into a main roster project. And now she's Vince McMahon's. Asuka, on the other hand, Asuka got over because of a 2.5-year undefeated streak and undefeatable, legitimately the best NXT Women's Championship title reign of all time by Asuka between 2016 and 2017. The best NXT Women's title reign of all time with Asuka. She was legitimately the embodiment of women's wrestling, the embodiment of NXT Black and Gold. And what did they do with her? They brought her up and they had her lose to Charlotte. Asuka is more NXT than Bianca is, not because Bianca did not establish herself, but because Bianca Belair did not spend enough time down in NXT to have a reign that was on the level of a Bayley or a Sasha or an Asuka. She never had a match that was on the level of something like that until she got called up to the main roster and she was feuding with Sasha, and then she had matches with Becky, and then she now is having matches with Bayley and Asuka as well. That was when Bianca finally got the standout matches, when she got called up to the main roster. But this was a Vince McMahon call right down to the very last letter. Asuka was robbed. Asuka is now she's 0-5. I was about to say 5-0. I wish. She was 0-5. She's 0-5 at WrestleMania. It's legitimately the reverse Undertaker streak. It's the new Sasha Banks streak. Asuka even came out on Twitter and she was ranting. I don't think Asuka's going anywhere, but I think that there is some grief with Asuka in this tweet. Asuka tweeted, "I may as well go back to Japan, but I bet a lot of you guys, my friends, will miss me when I leave WWE. Now I need the power of your anger. Let's bring chaos to the boring women's division with me. Let's bring chaos to the women's division. Let's bring chaos to WWE." I'm not really sure what she means by that. But I don't think she's going anywhere. However, you can sense that there is grief there with Asuka. Asuka winning the championship would have opened up an entirely new world of possibilities. It would have opened up an entirely new sea of challengers. But instead, they decided to keep it on Bianca, and apparently, they booked a match between Io, Candice, and Piper Niven, and the winner of that match will very well go and fight Bianca Belair, probably at WrestleMania or just Backlash. Just Backlash. Not WrestleMania Backlash, just Backlash. Not really sure who that's going to be, but I guess we will find out. But just like WrestleMania 34 with Asuka and Charlotte Flair, Asuka is discarded. This was a Vince McMahon call. I can feel it right now. Just like Asuka at WrestleMania 34 against Charlotte, Vince McMahon completely fucking destroys any credibility that Asuka had. Who's going to take Asuka seriously now? She was beaten clean at WrestleMania in a championship match. She did not even have a fucking championship title reign under this murder clown gimmick. Who's going to take her seriously now? Great match. Wrong outcome. What happened next was an absolute fucking disaster. Miz and Snoop came out again. They announced the attendance. Snoop put him in a match last night, and the Miz was not happy. Snoop then pointed to the stage, and Shane O'Mac came out. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, Christ. Where is the bleach? Where is the noose? Snoop made another match. Snoop made another fucking match, and Shane McMahon, off of a fucking leapfrog, tore his quad. Shane McMahon, off of a fucking leapfrog, tore his fucking quad. I mean, if that is not the universe telling Vince McMahon and the entire McMahon family, if that is not telling you, cut the shit. If that is not telling this company to cut the shit and stop with all this bullshit, there was too much fluff in between all of these matches. This entire card should not have gone past 11. You could have made do with putting this card on at 8 and having it go till 11. This is what I love about AEW pay-per-views. With AEW pay-per-views, no bullshit. right to the matches. There's no fluff in between. We go right into the matches. I get that you got to do sponsorships, but you can do sponsorships in the middle of these matches rather than doing all of this shit in between these matches. So Shane McMahon tears his fucking quad. Snoop Dogg came in, punched The Miz, knocked him out, and then delivered the worst looking people's elbow that I think I have ever fucking seen to get the win. This was a complete fucking disaster, and it should have never happened. You can find 2 spots on WrestleMania, one on night 1 and one on night 2. 2 spots on WrestleMania for The Miz, 1 for Snoop Dogg, 1 for Shane McMahon, 1 for Pat McAfee, but you can find nothing for Bobby Lashley, nothing for Karrion Kross, nothing for LA Knight, nothing for Santos Escobar, nothing for Johnny Gargano, nothing for Bronson Reed. Vince McMahon. That is your answer. This is all Vince. Edge versus Finn Balor. Hell in a Cell match. Holy shit. The normal cell is back. No more red cell. Hallelujah. So Edge, he rose up from the stage with black wings. He rose up from the stage with black wings and a silver skull mask, which looked badass, and he came out to Slayer's South of Heaven, and then they played Metalingus. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was fantastic. Fantastic stuff right there. Edge, great entrance. Finn Balor came out to his old NXT theme music, Catch Your Breath, which was fucking awesome. He looked like a beast. So these two went right after each other. Edge was whipped into the cell. Edge used a kendo stick against Balor. Crowd was chanting, "We want tables." Balor was then sandwiched in between the cell with kendo sticks by Edge. Edge then delivered a running dropkick off the apron to Finn Balor while he was pushed up against the cell. Edge brought out a table. Balor then got free of the kendo sticks, and he delivered a shotgun dropkick to Edge through the table on the outside, which looked awesome. There were a couple of great spots in this match, actually. Edge then came back with a kill switch in the ring. And I know that Lisa is probably disappointed because there was no Brood entrance. And Tony Khan gave Christian Cage the green light for Christian Cage to appear on WrestleMania. And that did not happen. That did not happen whatsoever. So Edge brought in a ladder and he hit Balor with it. And apparently, Finn Balor had a huge fucking gash. It's like his skull was fucking split open. He was still conscious, but his skull fucking split open. His skull was split open, and they had to stop the match for about 2 minutes while we got the medical personnel in there to check on Finn Balor. Now, I don't really know why we needed to do this. Listen, I get that the safety of the opponents is the most important thing, but at the end of the fucking day, WWE really gets on every little thing because it's a fucking PG product, and you gotta, always look out for the fucking kids. Fuck the kids. It's Hell in a Cell. If we don't see blood, is it really a Hell in a Cell match? No. So listen, I get it. And it's professionalism by the referee. It's professionalism by the medical personnel. But I mean, holy shit. WWE really fucked up the momentum of this match for just a little bit. So Edge got out more weapons while they were attending to Finn Balor. Edge set up a ladder. The Demon came back with a double stomp and a big coup de grace, but he missed. Edge then hit the ladder by mistake, face first. Both men were down. Balor with a shotgun dropkick and a coup de grace. Edge kicked out. Balor then climbed the ladder. Edge stopped him with a kendo stick. Edge delivered an execution off of the ladder to Finn Balor, which was a great-looking spot. Balor kicked out. Edge got another table. He set it up, but Finn Balor started wailing on Edge with kendo sticks and steel chair shots over and over again, and he placed Edge on the table. Balor then started climbing the cell, and he was standing on a platform. He was standing on a platform that was conveniently placed in the inside of the cell, which I think this is the first time that this was ever placed in a Hell in a Cell. He was placed on a platform that they put inside the cell, and he dove from the platform over the top rope into the ring, tried for a coup de grace on Edge, but Edge moved, and Balor is lucky that he didn't tear a quad. He's lucky he didn't tear an ACL, an MCL, a meniscus. He's lucky. He was lucky he did not hurt his leg like Shane fucking hurt his leg. So that was a great looking spot right there. Edge then hit a spear, but Balor kicked out. Balor kicked out. That was nuts. That was nuts right there. So Edge at this point says, fuck this, I am ending this. Edge delivers a concerto to Finn Balor and pins Balor for the 1, 2, 3. Now, aside from them stopping the match, aside from that, I thought this was an awesome match. I thought these two worked very well together. I thought there was a lot of great spots in this match. They beat the shit out of each other. It was very fun to watch. Edge gets the win. Edge gets the win. Now, does Edge winning make sense? Yes. Edge winning makes sense because in the end of it all, Finn Balor and the Judgment Day have been kicking Edge's ass for the majority of this feud. For about 97, 98% of this feud, minus Elimination Chamber and the Royal Rumble, in which Edge got some measures of revenge on the Judgment Day, the Judgment Day have been kicking Edge's ass for the last year. Edge has been on the receiving end of ass kicking after ass kicking after ass kicking by the Judgment Day for the last year. So did the win for Edge make sense? Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could say that. But I don't know how you guys really feel, but I don't know. There's a weird part of me that kind of feels like this was a Vince McMahon call too. Even though Edge winning makes sense, I can't help but feel that Vince McMahon made this call because Vince McMahon does not like Balor. Vince McMahon does not see Balor as a main event guy, and seeing that Finn Balor was put in such a most important aspect here at WrestleMania against Edge inside Hell in a Cell, nonetheless, it just feels very, very, very odd to me. It feels very odd to me that with Vince back in charge like he is, it feels very, very odd to me that in this program with Edge, even though it made sense for him to get the win, seeing how high Triple H is on Finn Balor, it makes me wonder why Balor didn't get the win here. And the only thing I can really chalk it up to is Vince. I don't know about you, but if I was booking this, I would have given it to Balor. Does Edge winning make sense? Yes. But did Edge really need the win? No. No, he didn't. What's going to happen with Finn Balor? Well, the Judgment Day, I believe, is going to move over to SmackDown, considering Rhea Ripley has moved over to SmackDown, and they got the Latino World Order feud going on over there. But that's where I can see Finn Balor going. and he will go with the Judgment Day and feud with none other than the Latino World Order. Do we see him potentially in the Intercontinental Championship title hunt? Maybe. Do we see him as King of the Ring winner? Maybe. If you're asking me, I would love to see Balor win King of the Ring. I think Balor winning King of the Ring would be a huge positive for him and his career. So that's what I would absolutely do. I would absolutely give Balor the win at Saudi Arabia, at King of the Ring on May 27th. I would absolutely do that. Main event, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. I don't really know where to begin with this. I guess I'm going to try to remain a little bit more calm here, and I really want to hit home on the points that I really want to hit home on. I want to really hit the nail on the head when I tell you that I understand where a lot of people are coming from when some people, not everyone, the majority of the community was pissed. But some people were saying that Roman retaining was actually the right move, and they're looking to tell a story going into SummerSlam. They're looking to tell a story going into SummerSlam of this year. And I understand what you're saying, but I think that a lot of people are bypassing all the negatives that come with Roman Reigns retaining here and all of the downsides to it, and they're just focusing on the one positive of they could tell a great story going into SummerSlam. That is legitimately the only positive coming out of the outcome that we got last night. I guess I'll start with the story. One of the biggest complaints going into WrestleMania was that the story was not as big as it should have been. Story wasn't as big as it should have been, and there was really no struggle with Cody Rhodes. Some people were saying that. Meanwhile, if you would have paid attention and if you would have actually thought, some people don't even realize this, a good majority of people actually, but the story and the struggle was there. You know what the story is? The story was Roman Reigns and his 944-day reign as world champion. The story and the struggle was Cody Rhodes leaving WWE. The struggle was Cody Rhodes reinventing himself on the independent scene. The struggle was Cody Rhodes creating AEW and building himself and his reputation and his credibility and his star power and his legitimacy from the ground up with what he did in Impact and New Japan and AEW and NWA and Ring of Honor. That is the story. The struggle was Cody Rhodes' entire career thinking that he would have been something in his first stint in WWE and then not getting the opportunities that he thought he deserved, being fucked over in the end, leaving, coming back at WrestleMania last year, tearing his pec, fighting through Hell in a Cell with a torn pec, coming back, be it as it may at number 30, winning the Royal Rumble, and then going up against the most dominant champion in all of pro wrestling's modern era. That is the story. Roman Reigns is the struggle. Roman Reigns and his 944-day reign, that is the struggle. The problem is that WWE, just like the lazy bastards that they are, WWE refused to highlight it. The problem is we were all left to assume, and we were all left to think of a story and think of a struggle unto ourselves. WWE did not highlight it the way that it should be highlighted. That's the problem. But the story and the struggle was there. The story and the struggle was there. So for anyone that's saying, oh, the story is going to be better, there wasn't really much of a story and there wasn't really much of a struggle, you're wrong. The struggle was Roman Reigns. The struggle was Cody's entire career. That is the struggle. That was the story. The career of Cody Rhodes and the different paths that Cody and Roman took throughout the course of their careers. And Roman Reigns reinventing himself as the tribal chief, going on the most dominant championship reign of the modern era. That is the story. That is the story. That is the struggle. It just wasn't highlighted in the way that it should have been. You're just looking at the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania time period. You're just looking at those 2.5 months. You're not looking at everything that took place prior to those 2.5 months. WWE did not highlight that, and they did not expand upon that like they should have expanded upon that. And the one thing that I want to focus on here is impact. I want to talk about the impact that a victory for Cody Rhodes would have had here. I am not going to discredit Cody. I am not going to discredit Roman. First off, I will say that the match that we got was absolutely fantastic. It was probably one of the most emotionally taxing matches that I've ever witnessed ever since Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole for the NXT Championship in a 2 out of 3 falls match back at NXT TakeOver New York in 2019, which was 10 years to the day that The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels put on the greatest wrestling match in history at WrestleMania 25. I am not discrediting what they did. The match was fantastic, and when Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns look at themselves in the mirror today before they head for Monday Night Raw, they're going to wake up proud. They're going to look in the mirror, and they're going to be proud of what they did. That was one of the greatest WrestleMania main events that we have seen in many, many years. Probably one of the greatest WrestleMania matches that we've seen since when Daniel Bryan fought Batista and Randy Orton, and the story that was told in that match with Bryan being carted out and Bryan fighting back. He came back from being carted out, and he beat Evolution and all of the same night. However, people are saying that they're going to tell a story going into SummerSlam with Cody getting his revenge. Will they be able to tell a great story? Sure. They'll absolutely tell a great story. Will they be able to put on a great match? Yes. It's Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. When was the last time that these two had a bad wrestling match? Come on. However, will it have the same impact as it did or as it would have had if they pulled the trigger at WrestleMania? The answer is no. I'm sorry to tell you, but when it comes to WrestleMania, no matter what you want to say, no matter what type of story you want to tell, at whatever event you want to hold the matches at, WrestleMania is the most impactful show for professional wrestling of the entire year, both in a positive way and both in a negative way. A loss at WrestleMania is the biggest negative impact that a professional wrestler could have. A win at WrestleMania is the biggest positive impact that a professional wrestler could have. It doesn't matter how many stadiums that you want to hold these other pay-per-views in. SummerSlam is not WrestleMania. Survivor Series is not WrestleMania. Clash at the Castle is not WrestleMania. The Royal Rumble is not WrestleMania. WrestleMania is WrestleMania and nothing else. WrestleMania is the most important, most impactful show of the year. That is the show where moments and matches and career-defining legacies, that is the show where wrestling moments will live forever. It's not SummerSlam. It's not Clash at the Castle. It's not Survivor Series. Will we have great moments at those shows? Will we have epic matches at those shows? Yes, but no one's ever heard of a SummerSlam moment or a Clash at the Castle moment or a Survivor Series moment. It's all about WrestleMania moments. Some people were saying that Cody Rhodes wasn't ready. I think you need to clean out your ears, because if you heard what I heard last night, when Cody Rhodes came out, they were singing his theme song. The entire roof almost caved in. The entire roof almost came down. I was actually afraid that when they did the whoa with Cody Rhodes theme song, that the entire stadium was going to go down in a pile of gravel. If you listened to the reaction, you would have known that Cody was ready. You just did not think he was ready because WWE did not highlight the story and the struggle like they should have highlighted. They only highlighted what we saw between the Rumble and WrestleMania, and that's all you're focusing on. It's much more than that. Much more than that. Will we get a great match at SummerSlam? Because there's no other way. They're going to have to do a rematch at SummerSlam. Will we get a great match? Yeah. Will we get a great story? Yes. But you would be an absolute fucking idiot. I am sorry. You are an idiot if you are going to tell me that Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes are going to duplicate what they did last night at WrestleMania. And you would be an absolute moron if you were to tell me that Cody Rhodes beating Roman at SummerSlam is going to have a bigger impact than it would have had last night at WrestleMania. Will it have an impact? Yes. Will it have a great impact? Yes. But will it have the biggest impact? No. Now, is Cody buried? No, absolutely not. You're an idiot if you think that Cody's buried. Is he ruined? Did he lose his mystique? Is the story over? No. No. Cody Rhodes is not going anywhere, and Cody Rhodes will be fine. He will be fine. But at the end of the day, you are a complete, you're a complete buffoon. You're a fool. You're an absolute retard if you're going to tell me that, yeah, this wasn't a missed opportunity. Cody's not buried. Cody's not ruined. Cody shouldn't pack it up and leave. Cody is not done. Cody will be fine, but this was absolutely one of the biggest missed opportunities that WWE has ever had. I think it was John Alba that tweeted. Now, I do not like John Alba. I will be the first to tell you I have a disdain for John Alba for reasons that I will keep to myself for now because I really don't have any time to get caught up in fucking drama. But John Alba, he tweeted out last night after the main event, he tweeted out an all-time great match followed up by what may go down as one of the single biggest creative blunders in wrestling booking history. This is not an exaggeration. I tweeted out, and I quote, in response to him, I have a disdain for John Alba for reasons I will keep to myself, but this is the most truthful statement that one could say in this moment. Roman and Cody will not come close to recreating this if they do a rematch at SummerSlam, nor will a potential Cody Rhodes win have the same impact as it would have had tonight. They did not end WrestleMania on the right note. On top of that, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but WWE has a serious problem with the Royal Rumble winner, especially in recent years. WWE has a serious problem with the Royal Rumble winner in recent years. And I said this before WrestleMania. When it comes to the Royal Rumble winner is supposed to represent the next in line, the next guy to invest our time in, the next world champion, that we should all be focusing on going into the next however many months. Unless it's a seasoned veteran who wins the Rumble, and it makes sense. It makes sense per storyline, where we will see the veteran put over a young champion that is looking to cement his legacy at WrestleMania. There should be no reason why a Royal Rumble winner should be losing at WrestleMania, because that devalues not only the legitimacy of the Royal Rumble winner himself, but it also devalues the legitimacy and prestige of the Royal Rumble match. The Royal Rumble winner should barely lose. Unless it's a seasoned veteran who is looking to put over a young champion, the Royal Rumble winners should not be losing at WrestleMania, because that is the next in line. That man or woman is the next in line, the next world champion, the next face of the brand that we should be investing our time in. And whether you want to admit it or not, Cody Rhodes looked weak, and they made the Royal Rumble match itself look weak. Roman also looked weak. Not because he's not great. Listen, I love Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has transformed himself into something so greater than anyone could have ever imagined. Roman Reigns deserves all the credit in the world for becoming the tribal chief, and on top of that, giving some of the talent on this roster some of the best matches of their life. And he's given us some of the best matches that we've seen in recent history. Owens, Zayn, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, Cesaro, Jey Uso himself. Why would you ever go out of your way to discredit Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns is not to blame here. Roman Reigns deserves all the credit in the world. And what he's done with the tribal chief gimmick will go down as one of the greatest runs in professional wrestling history. However, I want you guys to ask yourself this question. Does Roman Reigns really need the championship? No. Roman Reigns does not need the championship anymore. At this rate, Roman Reigns retaining here is nothing more than a way for WWE to pad Roman Reigns' stats. You threw away an epic WrestleMania moment from a man who has told his story throughout his entire career, and another man in Roman Reigns who has done excellent work, transformed his career, made himself into one of the most dominant world champions of the modern era, and you had Roman go over for what? A record? A 1,000-day record? A story that they're going to tell going into WrestleMania that is not going to come close to what they produced at WrestleMania? That's essentially what WWE did. They gave Roman Reigns the win merely for a 1,000-day record and a rematch at SummerSlam that is not going to duplicate what happened at WrestleMania night number 2 last night. Roman Reigns is great. Roman Reigns is fantastic, and he deserves all the flowers that one could give him. You're an idiot if you don't give it to him. However, it's all in the booking, and WWE, they have really run into a problem when it comes to long championship title reigns. WWE does not know how to book long championship title reigns. The only long championship title reigns in recent memory that I can honestly tell you have been standouts. I can only name you 3. 2 of them aren't even main roster related. Of the modern era, the only championship title reigns that have actually stuck out as great long championship title reigns were Adam Cole's NXT championship title reign, Asuka's NXT Women's Championship title reign, and Gunther's Intercontinental title reign, which is going down right now. Those are the only 3 long title reigns in recent memory that WWE has booked that I can honestly tell you went down as great long title reigns. I think Roman Reigns has done a phenomenal job. You'd be an idiot to think otherwise. But WWE has really run into a problem with Roman Reigns and his title reign. When it comes to the matches that Roman Reigns puts on, the matches are fantastic. His matches with Owens, fantastic. His match with Logan Paul, fantastic. His match with Sami Zayn, fantastic. His match with Cody, fantastic. But the endings to all these matches have become way too repetitive. Roman Reigns beats down on his opponent in the beginning. His opponent mounts a comeback. The referee gets knocked down. The Usos come in. They deliver their finishing moves to Roman's opponent. Roman covers. The ref comes to. Roman's opponent kicks out. Then we get more shenanigans with the bloodline, or Solo comes in. Heyman gets involved. Roman Reigns hits a spear. Roman Reigns wins the match 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns and his world title reign, it's been great from a match quality standpoint, but in recent months, all the endings have been the same. It's been very repetitive. I think the last time Roman Reigns actually won a match clean was when he defended the World Championship on SmackDown last June against Matt Riddle. That was the last title defense that Roman Reigns had that did not involve any outside shenanigans. When exactly are we going to get an individual that's going to overcome all of those outside shenanigans? On top of that, Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, they passed on a possible epic moment. You could have given us 2 epic moments. You could have given us 2 epic moments within literally 2 minutes. You could have given us an epic moment with the Bloodline coming out there when Roman Reigns did not need their help. Roman Reigns could have told the Bloodline, stay in the back. I don't need your help to beat this guy. And then the Bloodline comes out, and just like Cody Rhodes predicted, they're going to get sick and tired of Roman. You could have had Roman scolding Jay, Jimmy, and Solo, and then it would be the exact thing that Cody Rhodes said. Jay would leave him. Jimmy would leave him. Solo would leave him. Roman Reigns watches his own Bloodline walk out. Imagine the pop that would have gotten at WrestleMania. Imagine the pop. Imagine the pop that would have got. That would have been moment number 1. Moment number 2 would have been a Cody Rhodes victory because the Bloodline said, fuck you to Roman. They passed on a possible dual epic moment like that. All for what? A 1,000-day record and a story and a match that will not come close to what Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes told in the main event of WrestleMania Night 2. The stars were aligned. Everything was perfect. Everything was perfect. And they did not pull the trigger. And WWE, this is a habit that WWE has going for them very, very often. They do not pull the trigger when the time is right. And if we're going to be quite honest with you, Roman Reigns does not need the championship in order to be the tribal chief. After the run that he's been on, the championship does not make Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns makes Roman Reigns. After the run that he has been on, are you going to tell me, are you going to tell him that he can't call himself the tribal chief after everything that he's done? You'd probably cower away in fear if he stood face to face with you. Title or no title? Title or no title? Roman Reigns has made himself. He doesn't need the championship to be the tribal chief. And with this possibly being Roman Reigns' last year as a full-time wrestler before he inevitably goes Hollywood after his match with The Rock next year, does he really need to be world champion for the first half of his last year as a pro wrestler? I don't think so. I don't think so. Now where do we go? SummerSlam. Great. They're going to tell a great moment. They're going to tell a great moment. They're going to tell a great story, and it's going to have an impact, but it will not have the biggest impact. This was a creative blunder. Cody's not buried. Cody's not ruined. And Roman Reigns and Cody deserve all the credit in the world for what they did. Roman Reigns and his World Championship title reign will go down as one of the greatest of this generation. But it did not need to continue past WrestleMania 39. I'm sorry, it didn't. I'm sorry. On top of that, Roman Reigns and his world title reign, this is another thing that I don't see anyone saying. Roman Reigns and his world title reign, he has built up a reputation so big with this world championship title reign that it would kind of make the world title reign itself look weak if he loses at any other show but WrestleMania. Some people are saying, oh, SummerSlam is where Roman Reigns started the title reign. SummerSlam is the date where Roman Reigns is going to end the championship title reign. Who cares when the title reign started? It could have started at Extreme Rules, could have started at Hell in a Cell, could have started at Survivor Series, Crown Jewel, Royal Rumble. I don't care when it started. It should not be ending at any other show but WrestleMania. That type of championship title reign is a championship title reign that should not be in any way, shape, or form treated like a title reign that should be ending at just any other pay-per-view. SummerSlam is their second biggest pay-per-view. Second biggest is not their first. You put the most important match, you put the most important talent, and more importantly, you make the most important moments at your most important and your most impactful show. Cody Rhodes is not ruined. He's not bare. I'm going to continue to say that over and over again until you get it. Roman and Cody deserve all the flowers and all the praise in the world. They gave us one of the greatest WrestleMania main events of all time. Cody is a master storyteller, and Roman Reigns is going to go down in history as one of the greatest of our generation with this world title reign. But WWE made the wrong decision with this championship title reign by not giving Cody the title, specifically because they will not get a bigger moment. SummerSlam will be a great moment, but it will not be the biggest moment. It will not be a moment that people are really going to stand out and say, yeah, this was a great SummerSlam moment. A SummerSlam moment doesn't exist. You could have big-time moments at SummerSlam, but there's no such thing as a SummerSlam moment. There's not. There's only WrestleMania moments. WrestleMania is their biggest show of the year and their most important show of the year. How many people, and you know what? I think there was this other guy. I can't remember what his name is. His name's, it's Backup Hangman, I think it may be. At Backup Hangman on Twitter. He's a part of Wrestle Purist. And Wrestle Purist, I actually don't mind Wrestle Purists. They're actually one of the very few accounts on Twitter that I do not hate. And that's saying something, considering that I have a hatred for legitimately everyone. 99% of people I cannot fucking stand. But Wrestle Purist, I don't mind. He quote tweeted a tweet from Triple H that he was talking about how in WWE, the story never finishes and we just got to the end of a chapter. You know, that may be true, Hunter, but some chapters should not be ending like what we saw last night. And Wrestle Purist even pointed out that a lot of people that hopped back on when Triple H came on hopped off. And it's not even Triple H's fault. People are saying that there were reports going around that there was no involvement from Vince McMahon in the decision of the main event. That is the biggest crock of horseshit I have ever heard. This was Vince McMahon. This had Vince written all over it. The biggest thing to come out of this match is Vince willing, because he's back in charge in some way, shape, or form. He is, whether you want to admit it or not. Is Vince willing to pull the trigger on an individual that was a founding father of AEW? Is he willing to pull the trigger on a founding father of AEW beating his biggest creation of the modern era since John Cena? And we found out that answer, no. And once again, I'm going to bring this up. I think WWE may have just passed on their chance to sign the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. Not only that, MJF, Wardlow, many others. I don't think that even if Cody does win the championship at SummerSlam, I don't even think that they're going to have a chance at getting those individuals. I don't think that the Bucks and Omega are going to wait until their contracts are up in November in order to sign a new deal. I don't think they're going to wait till the last minute. Tony Khan is probably talking to them and working with them right now. And I have a feeling they're going to sign the new contracts at some point between now and SummerSlam. I honestly do believe that WWE may have just passed up their opportunity to sign talent away from AEW. They're motivated. They want to kill AEW, right? You had your chance right here to manipulate some people. Hey, look, we gave one of the founding fathers of AEW the world championship over our creation. Come on over. The grass is greener on the other side. They didn't do it. They didn't do it. They didn't pull the trigger for a record and a story that, while it could be great, it's not going to duplicate what we saw at WrestleMania 39. Roman and Cody will never come close to what we saw at WrestleMania 39. Is it going to be an epic match? Probably. Is it going to be a history-making moment? Probably. Will it be the most impactful? Will it be the biggest history moment that they could have done? What bigger moment can you get other than WrestleMania? Roman Reigns in his world title reign, whether you want to admit it or not, Roman Reigns in his title reign is not bigger than WrestleMania. It's not. I don't even know where that thought even came from. You are legitimately acting like Roman in his title reign, that moment when Roman loses the title, that's bigger than WrestleMania? No, it's not. Nothing is bigger than WrestleMania. Nothing is. The only thing that was bigger than WrestleMania, the only thing that was bigger than the WWE itself was The Undertaker. There will never be another Undertaker. Easily one of the biggest creative blunders of all time. And yes, Lisa, you are right that they shot themselves in the foot. They shot themselves in the foot last night. They did not put themselves in a good position. A lot of people that came back on have been turned off by what we saw last night. And quite frankly, it is sad. Quite frankly, it is sad. I am not sure what else I could possibly say about that, but I'd like to hope that I educated a few of you when it comes to WrestleMania. I am not going to sit here and be mad. I'm not mad. I'm not mad that Cody Rhodes lost. I am more disappointed that the wrestling community, at least some of them, cannot see the bigger picture as to why this was the wrong decision. That was the problem that I had. I think that these two men did fantastic. But was it the right decision? No. It wasn't the right decision because the stars aligned perfectly. The stars aligned perfectly. And the moment, the ambiance, everything from the story to the struggle, whether you want to admit it or not, everything lined up perfectly. And this was the best opportunity that you could have ever had, especially considering it was at your most important and impactful show of the year, and you did not pull the trigger for a 1,000-day record and a rematch just to get Roman into the 1,000-day range and end Roman's title reign at the same show that it started at, for whatever reason. Like, people are going to care when Roman's title reign started. Whatever show, yeah, it started at SummerSlam. Man, that's so interesting. Who cares when it started? Who cares when Roman's title reign started? At this rate, what people are going to be focusing on is when Roman's title reign is going to end. Who's he going to fight now? Is he going to take a 4-month vacation until SummerSlam? That's another thing. The championships are being held hostage at this point, and you're doing nothing but padding Roman's stats, and I cannot support that. So Roman had his big entrance with piano players playing his entrance, which I thought was great. So he said, WrestleMania, acknowledge me. Roman took control over on Cody. Cody Rhodes was body slammed onto the ramp. Cody then body slammed Roman's onto the ramp. Solo hit Cody with a steel chair in the ribs behind the referee's back. Cody was in pain. Cody Rhodes was then on top of the Spanish announce table with Roman Reigns. Roman went for a powerbomb on Cody, but Cody Rhodes back body dropped Roman through the announce table. Cody Rhodes got Roman back into the ring. Rhodes mounted a comeback with a snap power slam. Cody cut her for a 2. Cody with a suicide dive on Roman. And Solo then took the weight belt, which he gave to Brody Lee's son, -1, whipped Cody with it. The referee heard it, and the referee ejected Solo. Solo was pissed off. Cody then super kicked Roman, hit a crossroads. Roman kicked out. Roman caught Cody skinning the cat, delivered a Uranagi for a 2. We had a Superman punch reversed. Pedigree by Cody. Roman kicked out. Superman punch in midair. Cody kicked out. Roman with the spear, but Cody dodged it. Figure 4 by Cody. Michael Cole was going crazy. Roman reversed the pressure. Cody Rhodes got to the ropes. Cody Rhodes got to the ropes. Roman then he caught Cody with a spear. Cody came off the top rope. He rolled through. Roman caught him with a spear. Cody kicked out. Roman then locked in the guillotine. Cody Rhodes kept his arm up. He was doing the old arm up in the air trick. He then pushed his head out of the grip of Roman and started pounding away on Roman. Cody accidentally punt kicked the referee. All of a sudden, Cody Rhodes set up the crossroads, but the Usos came out, super kicked Cody. They laid out Cody with the 1D. Sami and Owens came out to run off the Usos, and Roman Reigns was at the mercy of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn getting a measure of revenge with a stunner by KO, a haluva kick. The Usos came in. They attacked. They brawled with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Rhodes crawled into the cover. The ref was back. 1, 2. Roman kicked out again. Amazing near fall. Cody and Roman traded back and forth blows. A little flip, flop, and fly. Crossroads. A second one. This is where the ending and the flat ending that we've seen for the last 7 title defenses with Roman Reigns came into play. Paul Heyman got involved. Solo Sikoa came out of nowhere. And Solo delivered a Samoan spike right behind the referee's back. Spear by Roman, and Roman Reigns retains. Fantastic match. An absolutely amazing spectacle of a match, but this was the wrong outcome. For the reasons that I just gave you, for 25 minutes before I talked about this match and I went in depth on this match. I think that these two worked very well together, and we will indeed see a phenomenal match. We will. We will see a phenomenal match at SummerSlam, and Cody Rhodes is going to get his moment at SummerSlam. Cody Rhodes will get his moment at SummerSlam. He's going to have to. He's going to have to get his moment at SummerSlam. But I'm telling you right now, we will not receive a moment that was as big as what we got at WrestleMania if Cody was to win the championship. And to be quite honest with you, with Vince McMahon now back in charge, I really am skeptical. I really am skeptical, and I really am not looking forward to the inevitable Monday Night Raw tonight and all the Monday Night Raws that we are going to have going forward. I'm not. I'm really not. I don't know what's going to happen. But it is certainly not going to be a scenario where I'm going to be happy. I'm very scared. And if you're not scared going forward, especially with Vince McMahon now back in charge, whether you want to admit it or not, he's back in charge, I think that you really need to check your priorities. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of The Rewind. You guys were were awesome. You guys were awesome. You guys made the last week and a half legendary for the DJ Storms brand. I cannot say enough good things about all of you. Thank you very much for tuning into this stream. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you to Sarah Hopka. Thank you to Lisa. Thank you to Dylan. And thank you to Peanuts and Dee Dee. Thank you to everyone who joined in on this stream. Thank you to the Final Hoss. You guys made this week one of the most successful weeks of the DJ Storms brand. I greatly appreciate all of you. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all those links in the description. Be ready because I hopefully will be getting a new streaming software. I'm going to try Melon. Hopefully that does not lag whatsoever. But nevertheless, till next time, I am DJ Storms. This has been The Rewind. But before we get out of here, remember this, baby. Remember who runs the IWC. That would be who but DJ motherfucking Storms. Don't you forget it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week.